Perfect. Perfect.
What's happening, fam? How y'all doing? Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys in the building. I don't know, family. I wish I was coming to y'all with better news. But we'll figure a way to get through it. Welcome, family. Welcome to the live stream. Man, what can I tell you, man? What can I tell you? What up, Dominic? He said he's pissed. What you pissed for, Dominic? Oh, man. Yeah, family, I gotta tell you something, man. It's just, it was kind of I don't know, you know. A lot of good and a lot of bad, though, man. We're gonna get over it, though. Gonna talk about it today. Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q. You listen to the Sports Coma, the #1 independent podcast on everything New Orleans Saints in the land, baby. I'd like to welcome everybody into the live stream now, family. Please come on in and chat it up. Questions, concerns, or comments will be welcome today on the Sports Coma. Man, what can I tell you, family? The Saints, in this one, will be predominantly in this hour live stream, inside of an hour live stream, will be predominantly talking about the black and gold, man, and what happened today. You know, what the hell happened today? I could have swore we had this one, man. I'm just be honest with you, but what the hell, you know, we get stumbled up every now. We trip up every now and again. And we're going to hear some stuff going on today, family. We're going to get into it and talk about it. But that's predominantly what we covered today on the Sports Coma, the Saints versus Vikings recap and podcast 405 live stream number 15, 1-5. These damn live streams really moving along, family. Really, truly moving along. And Dominic, welcome to the live stream. And Nikki said, I'm pissed. Teddy third string and D got to step up. Murray too slow out the backfield. Washington look good. And Harris is A1. I feel you, Dominic. Had a lot of Deontay Harris. Remember when we started, I don't know, most of the family was in the live stream at the time. But we talked about this, family. We talked about the fact that the Saints, we had things that we wanted to pay attention to. And one of the things we wanted to pay attention to was the punt returner situation. Marcus Shrells was dinged up, so he didn't play. So we've seen a lot of opportunities from other guys, and some questions were answered in terms of, I guess, some of the return. Deontay Harris looked awesome to me. Explosive, fast. He looked pretty good in the opportunities he had. He did look pretty good. I got to give him that. But, like I said, family, another loss. Saints fall 34-25 to the Minnesota Vikings in the very first preseason game of 2019. 0-1 on the preseason. Many people say preseason does not count. Does that lessen the sting, though? I don't know. They tell you that so that you don't kick their butt, I guess. But the reality at the end of the day is that preseason counts to a lot of men, especially the guys trying to make the damn team. So I don't know who came up with that. Maybe some guy who had his contract already done and said, well, shit, our contract already done. I'm making a team anyway. I hear you, Dominic. Your boy, Dan. Hold on. Stop the presses. Dominic. Don't say that's my boy. Don't say that's my boy, because I know when it was happening, the Sports Coma family was like, damn, I wish I could hear what Q's saying right now. What I tried to told you. Like old Master P used to say back in the day, and there's no limit heyday. But, this guy is what it is. He blesses you, and then he just curses you all in the same game. But, like I said, Dominic, what could you expect? What up, Quincy? Who that, baby? Teddy and the offense look comfortable. Don't like red zone offenses. No pass rush. Apple ball skills was down bad. Your boy Arnold up and down. Why all of a sudden Dan Arnold, my boy? Oh, man. He ain't my damn boy. I've been blasting Dan Arnold's ass since he dropped that touchdown pass in the NFC Championship game. I've been blasting him ever since. The media then forgave him. Matter of fact, when that happened, only one paper actually covered it, and I gave him respect during the show when it happened. The rest of them glossed right on over it and began to what I call the Saints parakeet movement of we got robbed. Most certainly, if you had gotten robbed, and if somebody robbed you or mugged you, you most certainly wouldn't let that go, would you, family? Wouldn't you go to your nearest police station and file a report against a person that mugged or robbed you? Most certainly would. I know most commonsensical people would do such a thing. And then when you put the report in and they start looking, then all of a sudden when they get close to the end, you say, oh, no, you know what? Never mind. Pull a report back. No, man. No. Dan Arnold is what it is, and I've been saying that for a long time, family. The guy still got a lot of work to do. And being that that's one of the heaviest things, dropping a touchdown pass in the NFC Championship game, what can I tell you, family? What can I tell you? Hey, D, what's up? Who that, baby? Please don't bring us. I didn't do it, D. D, I didn't do it. Dominic started it. Dominic came in and said to me, he told me, he said, your boy Dan Arnold dropped another ball. And then Quincy came in and followed it up. I tried to tell the family about Dan Arnold. But we got a lot to talk about, though, family, dealing with this game. Let's try to make sense of what the hell happened, shall we? I know we got a lot of pissed off Saints people, and you have the right to be so. We got high aspirations. This is not no shabby New York Giant operation going on over here, or some Miami Dolphin operation. You hear me, family? This ain't no shabby, crappy Miami Dolphin or Arizona operation going over there. This is a Super Bowl team right here for the last couple of years, and it's a lot of pressure on this team to produce. We have to produce. And see, look, I told you, D. Look, the family coming in. Hey, Cheryl, who that? Shadow, look at Cheryl said, Dan all those steel trash. Y'all gonna listen to me one day. Y'all gonna believe me one day. I know it's sting a bit, family, but allow your boy, Big Q, to kind of take the sting on, put a little levity in the situation, to uplift the spirits of the saint faithful. You know, hey, man, I'm telling you, it is what it is, like I like to say. But who that to you, Daryl? To you, Cheryl? Who that to you, DQ the Jew? Man, Ted is going to be nice. We got a Teddy Bridgewater, man, here. Like how he played in the game. Soldier for God, who that, baby? Oh, you couldn't watch it in San Antonio. Oh, I'm sorry, friend. Well, I tell you what, there, Soldier, you ain't missed nothing. You ain't missed too much. Who that, Sean? Who that, baby? But we're going to talk about it today, family. Let's try to make some sense of this game, man. All the Saints faithful in the chat. We got other people that's going to chime in as we continue to roll on through. Let's try to make some sense of this whole deal here. And we're going to talk about that today on that's pretty much what we talk about. Yeah, we're going to get into it, that Soldier for God. But this is just to hit you with the box score. We're going to play a little of that. Then we're going to have Sean Payton to chime in with his post-game thoughts. But it was 34-25. The Vikings get the win over the New Orleans Saints. And, man, what can I tell you, man? We're going to go over the team stats first and look at a few things. You see total yards, the Saints 337 versus the Minnesota Vikings 460 yards of total offense. That's just absolutely insane. 27 first downs for the Saints versus 21 by the Vikings. The Saints had the ball 33 minutes and 13 seconds versus the Vikings 26-47. Top men as far as, well, we'll get into the individual accolades in a minute. But it was standing room only. Over almost 74,000, just over 73,000 fans were in the building. Full house for the first preseason game. Drew didn't even play. That's how sponded the Saints fans are. That's how hungry we are to make something happen. Who that, L? Who that? Welcome to the live stream, baby. Oh, yeah, love McCoy, man. I said a 10-year starter for the Saints all the way through and through, baby. Who that? But this the whole thing, man, with the game. Looking at a lot of the foolishness from the game as we just went over the first downs and everything. Total plays, 64-54. We gave out the yards. Looking at the passing yards, 247 passing yards for the Vikings, 196 for the Saints in individual statistics. Rushing game. Did you know that the Minnesota Vikings ran for 213 yards on the Saints defense? Mostly in second and third units, but still in all. I don't care if you second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, or 12th. This is the NFL. This is still supposed to represent some semblance of respectability. We still supposed to know how to stop the run. 213 yards rushing in a preseason game is just utterly ridiculous. And this is the average. This damn team averaged almost 8 yards a carry on the Saints, and I know that was in a big gash play that happened that kind of put it up. But the Vikings still beat the Saints 34-24, despite the fact that they had 13 penalties for 136 yards. What world are we from when that happened and they still beat you by almost 10 damn points? 8 penalties for the Saints for 73, kind of really sloppy outing for the Saints. But before we get into the individual statistics, man, I want to hear what old Coach Sean Payton got to say or what happened. Here's Coach Payton on his thoughts after.
No, in other words, and then on the other side of it is you're on the receiving end of it. Let's say you're on offense and you come away with a completion, and it might be offensive pass interference, getting to the ball quickly and snap. I mean, there are a handful of nuances that you just got to condition yourself to get used to.
Would you like most of Deontay Harris?
Well, I thought, listen, he had He had a couple good runs. I mean, you can see his speed and change of direction, but ultimately the result, right? I mean, I was encouraged with that.
In a game setting, that's taking it back, would you like most him missing by a big miss?
He gained yards. I mean, what'd you like? I mean, he did a good job. He can run. And I would say this: he's been nicked up in practice with a hamstring, and it was good to see him back out there. And then not really having the amount of time on task some of the other guys have had. I was encouraged with how he played.
Comparing the kick return to the punt return, are you a little bit more encouraged with the punt return, given the changes that spot the last few years?
We'll see. We'll see. It's week 1.
So to understand offensive skill position, it's hard for them to do it on their own. How hard is it to evaluate whether they get everything right or wrong, whenever the ball is touched?
Hey, Brandon, are we going to
Yeah,
keep
honestly,
our
I think it's,
earpieces in when Peyton's done
I think
talking?
it's easier than you think. I mean, look, we grade all 11 on each play and pretty thoroughly. So the thing that keeps us
Are we
from
gonna
coming
keep
up
our
with a clear grade is
Our
if the
earpieces
player's
in when Peyton's done.
undecided as to what to do. I mean, we know the grade's
Okay,
not going to be
gotcha.
good, but if you think he's good enough to do it
Just make
and he
sure
didn't know
you
what to
get
do, that's
whoever's
frustrating. So our job as
after him
coaches is to try to
the
see him be able to
CSV
do
show,
something full
so we
speed
know
so that
who
we
it
can
is.
truly grade his talent. But yeah, we'll grade this game much like a regular season game. Our schedule tomorrow would be like the day after of a regular season game. And, the key will be, getting the corrections made so we're not repeating them again next week.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm probably gonna take off my headset.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we can tackle better.
Okay.
I think our pad level is going to have to be better.
I was just telling Lane to let me know when Bridgewater's coming out.
I'm sure when we watch the tape, there are going to be a number of details that you want to pull your hair out with, and yet that's why we're watching it, and that's why we're, heading into really, what the better part of almost the second full week of camp. So, but we'll wait to look at it and see, see what we see. I would say, look, our first phase tonight, we wanted to get somewhere between 12 and 16 snaps. There are a few players in that first phase, maybe from an injury that maybe we were short of that. Then we get into the second phase, where we're looking at 20 to 23 snaps. That usually gets you through the second quarter, into the third quarter, and then there's some adjustments there. So there's kind of 3 phases, and then there's some subtle adjustments. If a guy's playing nickel in phase 2, but he's not in the game because they're not in nickel a lot, then he's going to play more in phase 3. I think the challenge always is the kicking game, but for the most part, we were good there. We had 1 snap missing a player, and we'll get that corrected.
That's Coach Sean Payton, family, chiming in on his thoughts about the game. Oh, man. Wow. I mean, it wasn't as bad as you were thinking. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm expecting a little bit more from my team than that kind of outing, especially if you're a Super Bowl team, family. And before I finish the commentary on it, I want to say who that to all the people in the building. Jerome, who that to you, baby? I see you. Who that Ahmad is in the building. Who that Travis. Who that Kyle. Who that to you, my friend. Who that Shandon. Who that all that to the family, the who that's in the building, man. And Jerome said, what you said, Jerome? Let's see. Did you get my message? What message did I? Are you ready to go to New Orleans to pack your boy bags? Why is he all of a sudden my boy? I don't think Dan Arnold got many friends. I don't think he got many friends. I'm going to be honest with you. He got even less friends than Austin Carr. I had to clap for Austin Carr. I felt bad for Austin Carr. Austin Carr was getting no love from none of the Saints Nation. I had played some claps for him and give him some love, man. Family, I don't know what to tell you on this one. I mean, It was a lot of stuff that I actually seen that we liked, that I actually liked, was pretty good. To be quite honest with you, the special teams, the special teams, the kick return about. Remember we talked about that prior to the show. But on the pre-show, the preview show about 3 hours ago, we talked about that. We talked about watching Deontay Harris, what he'll bring to the table from the kick return game. There were certain ones that we had to pay attention to. But there was Dan Arnold stuff. Dan Arnold, truth be told, let's be honest, he caught the touchdown, fought in there, got the touchdown, then turn around and then do what he did. That's so Dan Arnold. That's just what he does, man. And a lot of people, is gonna see the guy is not ready for that position. Sean Payton sees something in Dan Arnold. Maybe he sees another Josh Hill and Dan Arnold. I don't see that. Josh, it might be a little Brandon Coleman in this guy. I won't even say that, man. But Sean Payton's enamored with these big wide receivers. He's turned the guy from a wide receiver to a tight end. The guy don't block worth of crap. I remember watching the play. He was supposed to block down on a defensive a cornerback, a defensive back, and he couldn't even square up the guy. The guy ended up turning him on the ground. So I don't know, man. Dan Arnold, to me, you know how I feel about Dan Arnold. Don't get me started on Dan Arnold. Y'all already know, family, how I feel about Dan Arnold's ass. It's just what it is. But we have to be mindful to understand, family, that, it's just, we can't really, what more can I tell you about Dan Arnold's shenanigans? He's just, no, family, he ain't gonna make it. But anyway, let's get back into some of the statistics, man, from the game, man, that I want to cover with you, family members, with the Saints Nation. Of course, Drew didn't start, but Teddy Bridgewater, 14 of 19, 134 yards, averaging about 7.5 yards every time he threw the ball. He had a touchdown. He was sacked a couple of times. And see, in both those times, one of those times was Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater was caught holding the ball too much, getting greedy, and just knowing to just dump the damn ball off. At this stage of his career, should have known better. But I still give him credit. That was a pretty decent outing. Taysom Hill came out there, looked good, 8 of 14, had 80 yards. Exciting watching Taysom Hill run around. He led the team in rushing tonight, 6 carries for 45 yards. He don't see anything. He take that damn ball out and he scrambles with it. He also had a touchdown and an interception today, but that interception wasn't his fault. We all know whose fault it was, and it bounced into the man's hand. And it's just silly, man. Also, like I said, he was the top running for the game. Dwayne Washington, 8 carries for 36 yards, almost 5 yards a carry for Dwayne Washington. Devontae Zigbo looked really good, even though he carried the ball only 3 times for 20 yards. He looked pretty good in the game. I had a long 11-yard run. Had he stayed on his feet, he would have had a touchdown on that play. Jaquiz Rogers, 5 carries for 15 yards. Latavius Murray, 3 carries for 14 yards. And Alvin Kamara had 4 carries for 11 yards in limited action. The receiver game, LaJordan Humphreys, 2 catches for 42 yards and an impressive touchdown catch in which he kind of he was able to turn and twist and get in that end zone. He was targeted twice, caught both his catches. One of them was a touchdown, very impressive run by him. But we already knew that about LaJordan Humphrey, is that the guy is a very tough guy to bring down. He uses the stiff arm, he lifts his legs, he turns. He's a very tough wide receiver to bring down. And we've talked about LaJordan Humphrey. He kind of lost a lot of steam when Emmanuel Butler stepped up into the conversation. Sammy Cobbs Jr. and all these other guys started to make their way into it. But LaJordan Humphreys was a guy that did have some talk. Cyril Grayson had a couple of catches, 2 catches for 32 yards. Of course, the unnamed one had 3 catches, 3 targets, 2 catches for 27 yards, 1 touchdown, and that stupid drop that ultimately caught was a pick 6. Latavius, 3 catches for 22 yards. Traquan Smith dropped another one 3 times. He dropped a pass out there, but 2 for 16. Alvin Kamara was 2 for 15. New tight end A.J. Derby, 2 catches for 13 yards on 4 targets. Jaquiz Rogers, 4 targets, 3 catches, 13 yards. Sammy Cobb Jr. was targeted 3 times, 1 catch for 11. Devontae Zigbo, 1 catch for 9. Rashard Matthews had 1 catch for 7 yards. Mike Thomas, 1 catch for 7, targeted twice. Mike Thomas dropped the touchdown pass, and that would actually that was a catchable touchdown. Bridgewater actually threw a really nice dart to him. And even though it was kind of a difficult play catch for Mike Thomas to make, Mike Thomas should have caught that touchdown pass. But it is preseason. We'll give him a break. Austin Carr was thrown at, no catches for him. And Traven Darrell dropped one. He should have had that ball. He dropped one. That ain't gonna help. That's not going to help you, Traven. It's your second stint here, so and dropping down passes is not going to earn you a spot on the team. To be honest with you, that's some of the offensive stats right there. Who that Crass? Who that baby? And but that's some of the things, family. We're gonna get to the defensive stats in just a moment. I just wanted to go over the offensive stuff to you and talk about it. Some of the observations I want to deliver to the family is just off my mind, because I wrote a few things down, but I didn't want to seem generic. I wanted to be able to organically give these things off my mind so that they come out with with the pungent point behind them. But my look was Teddy Bridgewater to start at the top. Teddy Bridgewater was somebody I was going to pay attention to because I knew the Saints were going to probably not play Drew Brees, or if they did, in very limited snaps. But I did understand that Teddy Bridgewater was going to be the dude that was going to be on the center, and the Saints won't see what they got in Teddy Bridgewater. He performed admirably today. He had a few things that I thought he should have not done, being that it's Teddy Bridgewater. This guy's, he's got a quick mind with the ball and all his accolades and things that he's accomplished over time. But Teddy Bridgewater's a guy, man, that really looked good today. I got to give him credit today. I've been lambasting the last few weeks. The last couple of practices, he actually looked pretty good. But the preseason is when I wanted to see him control and operate behind the first team offense. So he's got Mike Thomas, he has Elvin Kamara, got Teddy again, got all those guys in that offense, Jared Cook running around. And let's see how he orchestrates all those weapons, because we know what Drew Brees is going to do when he get out behind them guys, how he's going to turn that offense. Let's see how Bridgewater did. He looked admirably. I'm not going to give him credit. He wasn't fantastic, but he was very respectable and admirable. And, he commanded the offense pretty well. Big ups to Teddy Bridgewater on there. When I got to give a guy credit when he performs. He looked pretty good. Latavius Murray was another guy I seen. I liked Latavius Murray's running style. He got a little shake to him, not just a bull run. A couple of those, plays I thought he had a guy that kind of wrapped him up. He had a really good run for a touchdown had he had not got tackled back there. But Latavius Murray looks okay to me as far as some of the veterans. Now, as far as the running back, other little guys I want to talk about offensively speaking, Devontae Zigbo looked really good to me. I like, even though in some limited snaps, I like what I've seen from this guy. And you haven't heard too much in camp. He had a few things going on in camp. We've been following that. But I wanted to see what he would do in the real game situation. And Devontae Zigbo had, some pretty decent plays, caught the ball out the backfield. He's showing you how he can run, got some power with his game, a little wiggle with him. Had he had kept his balance, he would have ran. He'd still be running right now. So the Saints doing pretty good. LaJardan Humphrey's a guy we hadn't talked about much, but early on, he looked really good. Big wide receiver, similar to the rest of the big wide receivers that we have. Big ups to him. He looked pretty good. And it's just the Saints, continuing to utilize these undrafted wide receivers. Very talented group of guys that we got here. Pretty good. Unimpressive guys, offensively speaking, before we translate to the defense and special teams, is Marshall Newhouse. Marshall Newhouse, almost a 10-year veteran, looked like absolute crap. Looked like, when I go back in my days when I used to talk about Zach Street and you're putting them on skates and pushing them, the big vending machine, I called them. A vending machine with skates on. That's how you would move around a guy like that. But Newhouse looked like he never played football in his life. He needed to go back to play park ball or something. He didn't look too good today. Let's kind of wrap that up to being new. He didn't look good to me at all, that Newhouse character. Didn't look good to me at all on the offensive line. And he's supposed to be one of the most veteran guys behind the other guys, the guy like Ryan Groy and all these other characters. Didn't look too good to me. Other guys I was looking out for on the offensive side of the ball, I wanted to see Rashard Matthews more, even though he had one catch. Seeing him late in game action. I would like to see Rashard Matthews put closer to the second or third team, perhaps. Something up in that realm. But, you guys chime in. Tell me what you think. What offensive guys that you seen that you like Taysom Hill was another guy I'm gonna talk about just a minute. I'm gonna play Teddy Bridgewater's post game interview in just a second and let y'all hear his thoughts on the game. He had a pretty good game, but this is the thing I want to talk about dealing with Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill, I wanted to see if he improved his accuracy in the game. As you can see, he was throwing the ball at guys' feet. He was overthrowing the guy. He had a couple of guys running wide open on angles to the sideline, and Taysom Hill throwing the freaking ball at their feet. Now, if the feet had if they feet had hands, then that would have been fine. But it was a couple of plays where Taysom Hill was moving around, and he has to, if he's going to be a scrambling quarterback, he's going to have to learn how to be more accurate on the run, making those type of passes. So his accuracy kind of off and on, but I can appreciate the pass to LeJardan Humphreys, the one to Rashard Matthews, the one he threw to Traven Darrell on the sideline, the back shoulder fade that Darrell should have caught that ball, but ultimately ended up dropping it. So it was a few things I really like from Taysom Hill. I like the fact Taysom Hill don't play around. When he sees an opportunity in the pocket breaking down, he don't sit there and try to look at what he gonna find. He just take the hell off. And I love that about Taysom Hill game. And notice when he was in there, you hear the crowd get into it, and then the defense was on skates because Taysom Hill is in the game. You're gonna have to spy this guy. You have to play him because he's a running quarterback, and he had the opportunities. He seized the day. Then he also showed you he could throw the ball. Still kind of maybe a little bit better as far as his accuracy is concerned. Not that much better, but he has been working on it. So it's still the first preseason game, and we just have to monitor it. So that's a few of my takes on some of the guys that I've seen during the game, offensively speaking. Now, we're going to get there, and we're going to talk about this defense and special teams momentarily. But before we get to that side of the fence, let's hear what old Teddy Bridgewater had to say about his performance against the Vikings.
As well in the short yardage. You look at the kicking game, Will did a great job tonight. Return game, those guys did a great job tonight. So, of course, there are some things to take away from tonight, but that's why we have practice tomorrow. That's why it's a preseason. You get to learn from those things and move forward.
How did you feel like you did? Like, how would you rate your performance?
I leave that to the coaches. Felt like, for me, my main goal was just to create tempo, create rhythm, and try to establish an identity. And I think we did a good job of doing that.
You said earlier you felt more confident in this offense. You feel like you really carried that?
Yeah, definitely. The coaches did a great job today of just calling plays that we were comfortable running, and the guys did a great job of just making plays. We were able to put together some good drives, good scoring drives, and of course we won 7 points instead of 3. But whenever we can put points on the board, it's always a plus. Yeah, it was just a great job by the guys being aware of the situation. Our defense did a great job of leaving us enough time to be able to drive down the field and score. The guys on the outside did a great job of understanding what plays we were calling, getting the signal and communicating and running the correct routes. Offensive line did a great job of hearing the calls and protecting. And all I had to do was sit back and play pitch and catch. That's something we've been working on over these last couple days. 2 minute, and to be able to get to rep 2 minute in a game-like situation, in an actual game, that's a plus. It's a great learning opportunity for a lot of guys. When you look around this league, a lot of games come down to the 2 minute drive, and to be able to get points today, it was big.
Teddy Bridgewater family telling you the truth about the game, and like I said, I got to give it up because I've been really lambasting Teddy Bridgewater these last, the two last practices. He actually started looking decent. Prior to that, pretty mediocre milquetoast type stuff. I'm not gonna just give you accolades and you doing mediocre performances. That's just not who I am. But big ups to the family. Crass, who that baby in the building? Derek, who that to you, my friend? Demi, hey Demi, who that? Verlin, what's happening, baby? Who that, man? I ain't see you in a while, buddy. But yeah, family, this is some of the stuff that we was talking about, man. Dealing with the preseason with Teddy Bridgewater. I want to see how he play. I want to see what Taysom Hill look like. I want to see some of these reserve offensive linemen. You seen Big Omame or whatever his head name is. That big fella Omame from the Giants. He had a penalty on him. What the hell, man? So I want to see some of these Saints veterans, these young veterans and vets that the Saints brought in offensively speaking, see what they can do. We seen Will Clappin for a few plays, nothing outstanding. A few players here, nothing stepped out. But look, Jordan Humphries, man. We ain't see Manuel Butler out there. I think they ain't play him. But Sammy Cobbs made a play. We seen what he looked like out there for a little bit. And Cyril Grayson is lightning fast, man. Deontay Harris, man, that was the guy that I really wanted to find out about because, like we said, the question is the only positions that are open to be taken on this deep team is the kick returner and the third pass rusher, which did like some of the family astutely saying in the chat, no pass rush. Where the hell was the pass rush? No pass rush. And I'm going to go with you on that, family, and also say not only wasn't a damn pass rush, but it wasn't even a run stuffing. What was the run blocking at? What was the run stopping? Where was it at? It was 200 yards of rushing on the ground from the Minnesota Vikings in the preseason game. You not only did you not stop them from passing the ball, getting to them and disrupting whatever quarterback they had 4 quarterbacks that had reps back there, but you didn't get to none of those guys. And we're talking to you, Carbon Kafusi, Geno Grissom, who I highlighted in the preview show. Geno Grissom, Carbon Kafusi, Porter Galston. I seen Shy Tuttle out there. None of these guys made an impression. None of these guys got to the quarterback. None of these guys did a damn thing. So Trey Hendrickson, where was Trey Hendrickson at? Where the hell was he at? All this talk about, Trey Hendrickson ready. Trey Hendrickson ready. Ready for what? The trash heap? I mean, you've been sucking up the Saints' effort for the last 2 or 3 years. When you going to do something, man? When you going to pay the light bill for him? At least pay him back. At least pay him back for all the freezy pops you done ate. All of the raid in the ice box. I just think it's absolutely crazy, man. But let's go on over. Let me read a few of the Saints family comments before we transition to defense and special teams. Demi says, I'm sorry, Q, my fellow Whodats, I wasn't impressed at all with our pass rush or the lack there was. Coach will have to do something about it. Why wasn't the ball thrown down the field? Very milquetoast pass call. I mean, you had an opportunity to throw. I think Sean Payton wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit, but usually, traditionally, it was some of these preseason games, these for first games, they're usually kind of vanilla. You know what I mean? They kind of tasteless and bland. And then as more games started to churn and ratchet up, they try not to show too much of the playbook. But taking some shots downfield, Taysom Hill took a few shots down the field. I can appreciate him doing that to Traven Darrell, and that should have been a catch, and stuff like that. I love to take a few shots out of you. But like I told y'all, you've seen Taysom Hill's arm. There's not a damn thing wrong with Taysom Hill's arm. Taysom Hill control the deep ball. His problem is everything else underneath. So, that's one of the things on that, Demi. As a preseason, keep, churns on, you'll see a little bit more, but they try not to reveal too much in the preseason. Dominic says, Q already said we missing one true pass rusher. Very true. Maybe they're waiting for the guy to come out of jail to help him. Maybe waiting on him to get his ass out of jail to help you. Right now he fighting to help himself. So, I mean, what it comes down to, family, is that the Saints have to realize, hopefully this game showed them something. Say, you know what? We need to go out and get some help behind Cam and Davenport. We didn't have any kind of pass rush, despite the fact that the Saints did send some blitzes. The vanilla scheme, the defense was kind of bland, but they did blitz. They just was ineffective. Very ineffective. Crass says Taysom's accuracy needs polish. Love the passion, but you can't take off running. At this level, you got to stand tall in the pocket and sling it. I mean, you know what, Crass? That's a great and valid point. But the guy's a quarterback, and his main game is he's a scrambler. He's known to be a scrambler, not much as a passer. I mean, you see he control the deep ball, but that's the knock against Taysom is that he has to work on the short and intermediate passes. Did I see enough to see that he gotten better? I don't know. It's still kind of iffy, kind of from what I'm accustomed to seeing from him throwing the ball. Threw the ball at the guy's feet. He threw the ball at a running back running to the sideline toward his right. He threw the ball past him. Stuff like that you can't do, especially when it's a 10 or 12-yard little dump pass. Just dump the damn ball off to him, Taysom, so the guy can make a play. Don't throw it at his feet. You still need to work on that. So I hear what you're saying. Berlin, Verlin says, yeah, pass rush, we got to help them DBs as much as possible. Kayvon Webster made a play there. But, like I said, man, Patrick Robinson, good grief, man. And that's another one thing. I've been letting Patrick Robinson slide. I ain't been saying too much. I've been leaving him alone. Patrick Robinson. But good grief. Do we have the Patrick Robinson from the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl team that year that helped them win the Super Bowl? Or do we have the sad-ass Patrick Robinson we had when we drafted him the first time we was New Orleans? Please tell me. Sometimes we suffer from selective amnesia on this stuff. Some of these players, we call them retreads, and I most certainly say you can kind of consider him a retread. The Saints drafted this man out of Florida State with a first-round draft pick. He had to go to San Diego and Philly to get his confidence and learn how to play the position because he totally was not effective when he had him down here. He was the Ken Crawley and P.J. Williams before they got here. So I mean, when it come down to P-Rob, man, come on, man, you got to get your ass in gear. Pardon my Portuguese, Spanish, and French. But you can't do that. You can't act like that. You got to get it together, man. But that's why, but that really kind of, cycles back in my mind while the Saints picked up Kayvon Webster. Perhaps they didn't think from what they were seeing of Patrick Robinson that he would not be able to kind of get back to what he was when he was with Philadelphia. I don't like how Patrick Robinson looked in this game. I'm just going to be honest with you. Didn't look like a damn thing, man. Didn't look good at all to me. Okay, let's see what the family member's saying there. P-Rob didn't look good either. He was turning crass to me on the same thing. He said he was turning around like a rotisserie chicken against. That's funny. Kind of disappointed in Mario Edwards tonight. Who's that? Who's Mario Edwards, Ahmad? Wasn't that a defensive lineman that was supposed to be brung here to help the Saints out? Huh? Disappeared, didn't he? But see, that's the thing, man. We got to understand, man. Some of these guys, we thinking that they're going to be greater than what they are. A lot of these guys learn the system for the very first time. And I'm not. This defense, man, couldn't do a damn thing. They couldn't run stuff. They couldn't run block. They couldn't run stop. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do any deviation or a variation of anything dealing with halting somebody from running the ball on. Just be honest with you on that. Crash said Muhammad Wilkerson's still out there. Can't do no better. You can't do no worse. Crash say, anyone notice Chauncey Gardner make that stop tackle on the 2-point attempt by the Vikes? Yeah, we seen that, but that's Chauncey Gardner Johnson. He had a few good plays in this game. Let's address that, family. Let's address some of these other things on the statistics as far as they go. Here are the Saints' defensive statistics on defense. J.T. Gray, believe it or not, led the team with tackles. He had 5. Darnell Sankey had 4. Demario Davis had 4. Taylor Stallworth played well. He was in the backfield a couple of times, kind of out of – he collected 4 tackles, but he was out of position on a few of them too. He got to get better with that, Caden Ellis had 3 tackles and 1 pass defense. Mario Edwards had 2, 1 pass defense. Ken Crawley had 2. Chauncey Gardner Johnson had 2. Patrick Robinson had 2. Geno Grissom had 2 tackles as well. P.J. Williams 2. Vince Bidrell had 2, 1 apiece for Banjo, Sylvester Williams, Kayvon Webster, Justin Hardy, Dwayne Washington, Eli Apple, Trey Hendrickson, and all the likes. All those guys had a 1 tackle in the affair. Now, looking at some of these players, man, like I said, it's just, to me, man, on the defensive end, not really too many people stuck out to me. Maybe because I just didn't like how the defense looked tonight. Had they have done a better job of run stuffing, and had they did a better job in the secondary, we might have been able to give them a little bit more accolades. But I ain't slapping these guys on their goddamn back when they perform like this. That's like rewarding bad behavior from your child. You just burn down somebody else, and you say, "Way to go, son. Way to go. Next time you can get the house next door in the entire neighborhood." I'm not rewarding bad behavior. These defensive people, to me, son, just didn't look good for the Saints. A lot of them didn't. And I know some of it's their first games and not, but you're still a professional. You're still getting paid like a professional. You gotta, if you're getting paid like a professional, you gotta play. And Eli Apple, he turned, that ain't look good. But I've seen Eli Apple in practice. I think he's good. He just kind of had a bad outing against this team, but he didn't look good at all. Maybe it was open night jitters or something like that. I don't know what it was, but he didn't look good at all. Didn't look good at all to me. Who that, Jay? Who that, Jay Alexander in the building, bro? Our secondary is soft. As AF. Appreciate the censorship. Myra Edwards is not a pass rusher. He is not, Jay. Jay Alexander, who that to you, baby? Appreciate that commentary. Because you're absolutely right. Marcus Davenport's need work. He's not ready to be a number 2 pass rusher. Hey, man, listen. Listen to what Jay Alexander's saying, family. We don't want to accept the reality about it. But if you think about Davenport, that's why I was saying we needed another veteran pass rusher. We need somebody here because I like Davenport in that position. Maybe we kind of thrusting him a little too soon into stuff. Now, even though he didn't really play that much in this game, we'll monitor that. But, you know, I think with the Saints defensive line, once healthy, he could play in that. But I still would prefer to have a pass rusher behind Davenport to spell him when he comes out, because I'm like Dennis Allen. I'm going to come at you with pass rushers in waves. When Cam Jordan gets tired and has to sit down and take a break, or Davenport has to sit down for a second, my pass rush don't stop with those two guys because they sit down. I'm going to keep coming at you. That's why it's important to have a pass rusher that can help you. You had 0 pass rush tonight. Maybe we can stop bringing in all these damn running backs and bringing some pass rushers. You know? I mean, just think about it. We had Jaquiz Rogers. We seen Jaquiz Rogers out there. I didn't see Curlin Williams out there. Do we really need Curlin Williams? Deontay Harris is healthy. Let's see what he can break. Cyril Grayson was healthy. He looked pretty decent. Those guys are the kick returners. Let's get them. But instead of bringing all these damn running backs, how about looking at for a couple of these pass rushers out here to help you pass rush, bruh? Huh? How about that? Appreciate the comment, Jay. Brian, who that, Brian? Brian said Eli should have caught the ball if he turned around and see it. He lost the ball in the lights. And see, that's another thing too, is that even if you don't know if the damn ball coming, you can see the other man see it. Just get up there and get in this, not get in his face and block him like a Ken Crawley would do. But it's just hard sometimes. Sometimes, it happens. He lost the ball in the lights. I think that's what happened. If you notice, he looked up, he tripped a bit, stumbled, looked up, and just kind of lost where the ball is. And next thing you know, it's behind him. Well, that's one of those mistakes that happen. But we just got to get better in the secondary, man. We really do. We really do have to get better in the secondary. Jay Alexander said we need to cut our losses with Dan Arnold. Everybody on the live stream, since the live stream started, the family had been going full bore on Dan Arnold. Now, Dan Arnold did catch a touchdown. He did catch a touchdown today, family. Let's get that understood. Didn't Dan Arnold catch a touchdown and fight to the end zone to get that score? But see, when you a guy that gets a touchdown, and then a few series of plays later, you drop a ball. Not only do you drop the ball, but you clumsy enough and buffoonish enough to drop it in a way where it bobbles so the man takes the pick six. I mean, so you just literally erased all the good that you did. You called a touchdown to give your team to get a touchdown, and then you gave it back by a boneheaded play. But I hear what you're saying, Dominic. I hear what you're saying too, Ka. But the reality is, he is trash. Dan Arnold is trash. He is garbage. But Sean Payton has garbage in his eyes, if you know what I mean. The man he's enamored with Dan Arnold. He's 6'6". He was former wide receiver. And he's trying to make Dan Arnold his tight end. I don't know what the hell it is. I just think that somebody need to tell him, man, what are you doing? Alex A. Mack is here. We got Jared Cook. We got Garrett Griffin. Why don't we just cut bait and run on Dan Arnold? Don't you understand this is what's going to happen over and over again? And from a psychological standpoint, I don't think Arnold got over that. If I was Dan Arnold, man, don't you understand the gloves them suckers wear? Those sticky gloves, man. That's sticky gloves. That's almost like cheating. You shouldn't even be able to, if you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, you shouldn't even be allowed to wear gloves with stick 'em on it where you can be able to catch the ball. And they're still dropping the ball. And the ball guy, how bad are you if you dropping passes in the gloves that they're wearing? Come on. Come on, man. Come on. I can't help you even more than that. I got to put super glue and gorilla glue on the gloves to help you catch the ball. But Dan Arnold's it's going to be that type of guy. I just don't see it in Dan Arnold. I'm sorry. When he came here, they're enamored with his size. But the goddamn guy can't catch a cold. It's just what it is. You know, for every one thing he do for you, he gonna cost you 2 or 3 things in the end. It's just not worth it. Just cut bait and run. It's what it is. But Sean Payton's enamored with this guy. He is enamored with him for whatever blasted reason. I can't tell you why. I don't know what's going on. If I was running the team, Dan Arnold wouldn't be on my team. And you know when I would have cut his ass right after the NFC Championship game, he would have packed his bag and got the hell out the building. He wouldn't been sucking up my air. But Jay Alexander said we couldn't tackle. We had too many damn penalties. We just looked poo, bro. Yeah, I agree with you, brother. I mean, we looked terrible. We looked like we wasn't ready to play. Don't you know that was a jam-packed Superdome? They had over 73,000 people in that goddamn place, like it was the opening game of the regular season. The preseason game with Drew ain't play and most, and limited action for most of our stars. And we're so diehard. We're so diehard in our heart and soul that we want to see some of these guys produce and see what they can do. The defense was a total letdown in my case. They had a few bright spots there, but overall, absolutely terrible, man. I'm just terrible. And the statistics backs it up. You take a look at some of the statistics that happened. 460 total yards, bro, for real, and 247 through the air, and 219 on the ground. 219 on the ground. Did you hear me, family? I mean, that's the New Orleans Saints defense, and that's what happened tonight. So I don't know. You know, it just was craptastic. But special teams wise, big ups to the special teams guy, Deontay Harris. Look at some of his statistics. Let me break some of that down for your family members. Is Deontay Harris 3 attempts, kick return attempts. He had 90 yards on 3 attempts. He averaged 30 yards an attempt. Deontay Harris. Cyril Grayson had 2 kick returns for 61 yards. That's promising. Deontay Harris had 1 punt return. He didn't do too much with it. But the reality, it's a situation that's the kick return men, both Deontay Harris and Cyril Grayson averaged 30 yards on returns. That's impressive. That's impressive to me. And that's the last layer of special teams we want to be concerned about. Will Lutz turn in an excellent performance? Of course, Morstead's going to do what Morstead's going to do. But the kick return aspect of it was something that we needed to pay attention of. And those guys for this preseason game gave me a lot to be happy for. Deontay Harris finally healthy, showing that what he could do. Quick and elusive speedster. Cyril Grayson did the similar thing. Love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it what I seen from the kick returners today, man. Now, the other stuff that's to be talked about the defensive side. So, there it is. Verlin says, no, he didn't look good. Lost in his lights and Dito on Davenport. Now, Kyle Shin says, can't wait till Rankins come back. Me and you both, brother, man. J. Alexander, right, we done bought in 8 damn running backs, 0 pass rushers. Hey, bro, I've been saying it over and over and over and over again till y'all get tired of me saying it. Is that how many damn running backs we going to need? And then we thinking about it. You ain't even play Curlin Williams. You just signed him Friday. He wasn't going to get any action. He don't know nothing. So he's not going to be a player as far as the running backs are concerned. You know, I see the Saints missing Jacquizz Rodgers in the scat back role and giving him the ball to see what he can do, because perhaps Jacquizz Rodgers is somebody that Sean Payton looking at they can use in that role behind a guy like Dwayne Washington perhaps, or Devine Ezigbo. I still like Ezigbo over that guy. I still like Devine Ezigbo behind him. Dwayne Washington, a lot of people's outing Dwayne Washington. They're looking past him, but Dwayne Washington's to be taken seriously. He runs the ball pretty well. He has some north-south speed. He got some power to him. I like him. But Devine Ezigbo to me brings a little bit more. Dwayne Washington, not so much a catcher out of the ball, kind of one-dimensional-ish type back. And in the Saints complex scheme, you need somebody that can do a multitude of different things, and that's what Sean Payton relies on offensively and defensively, and even special teams-wise, if you think about it. A series of players that can play multiple positions provides flexibility for the entire team. I can take my goddamn offensive tackle who plays left tackle. He also plays right tackle. You got Michael Ola, who's not that great but serviceable. Ola played guard. He could play some center, and he got him playing tackle. I mean, come on. You want to talk about flexibility. Don't get me tied on Andrews Pete playing 4 positions. But you got other offensive linemen like Will Clapp and Cam Tomlin who plays center and guard, so they have certain ability to be used in multiple different ways. They're flexible in terms of their position, and that frees up the Saints have to have so many of those guys, and they can focus to have guys on the skill sets if they need them. If you need an extra wide receiver, or extra defensive back somewhere around the line, or extra pass rusher, perhaps it provides that flexibility. So I mean, I'm with your family. Derek says Davenport is a situational pass rusher right now. That's what he is. And anybody out here could tell me that Davenport is a guy that's ready for the starting role. We'll see. We'll see, because I don't have a crystal ball, and I doubt many people do. But most people are very perceptive. And you got to respect their perceptiveness, because you can look at a player and say, what I'm seeing from this guy right here, he ain't ready for that yet. Maybe down the line, as he get used to it, he gets turned, if he stays healthy, then he could be that man. But right now, I can't sit up here and say, oh, he going to be a star. If he's healthy, I know if he stays healthy, Davenport, just off of his freakish skill set, he can get you 5 to 8 sacks playing on that side, simply for the fact that they're going to double Cam Jordan on the other side. Malcolm Brown's going to suck up a guy or two to block him. And then you have guys like when David Onyemata comes back in, he's a bull in his own right. So Davenport's going to be a guy that sees a lot of single blocking. If that's the case, I can see in 16 games him getting anywhere between 5 to 8 sacks if he stays healthy. And that's a big if, because he was hurt when he was in college. When he got drafted shortly thereafter, he had surgery on his hand. Then he had something else happening. So we got to find out if this guy can stay healthy to contribute. That's what it comes down to. Thank you there, Derek. Quincy says, Davenport still very raw, technique kind of wild. I still believe in his growth. Just off of his freakish ability alone, just off his athleticism, he can get you 5 to 8 sacks because of his single blocking, like I say. So I really do think that, though, too. But he has to remain healthy. Brian says, I hope the next game they do better on both sides. Ain't no doubt about it, Brian. Sean Payton is not going to tolerate this. He ain't going to tolerate this kind of shenanigans from this team. This was absolutely just as pathetic. This is actually really pathetic. And let's see hold on. Yeah, they just family. I'm just going over the chat from the family members, and you should see the family members just lambasting the hell out of Derek Arnold. The constant talk. I don't know if I'm, you know what? Am I partly responsible for that, family? Had I focused on somebody else? Listen, I'm bringing light to this guy, man. I'm bringing light to him, you know, and I ain't trying to single the guy out. The guy's a backup tight end, for God's sake. But shoot, when you drop a touchdown pass in the NFC Championship game, you're going to get eyes on you. Then the media was kind. Sean Payton protected him and say, no, it was just us. I had a vanilla play. I was conservative. We could have did this. We could have did that. I'm like, man, all that crap you talking, dude, you could have went for it on that short and one play toward the end of the game and not settle on that field goal. You could have went for it and told Mark Ingram and that offensive line of yours, who's Super Bowl offensive line, go out there and get me that goddamn 1 yard. I would have told him, like, you call a timeout. Let me talk to y'all for a second. Listen, y'all want to be in the Super Bowl to ramp them up. Y'all want to be in the Super Bowl? Yeah. I said, okay, well, listen. We short and one. We need this goddamn yard right here. We get this yard. We get another set of downs. We get this goddamn touchdown. This end zone. We get this touchdown. We go to the Super Bowl. If I can't get you as a coach to give me one yard in the NFC Championship game, then I don't need to be your goddamn coach. I don't need your coach. I'm not going to sit there and kick a field goal and play it safe. And the Rams weren't playing it safe. They were going for it on 4th down. And they were doing this kind of stuff. But I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, and all this kind of stuff. Let that player take his licks too. Let him take it. He ain't a child. Let him take his licks too. And Dan Arnold's still dropping stuff. If I was Dan Arnold, I would have been somewhere on the catching machine the whole damn summer catching. You'd have known when I came back that I was catching everything. Oh, I could see he was working his ass off. I'm not saying he can't, but you get in the game and do foolishness like that, what can I tell you? Trying to run without catching the ball and you're Dan Arnold, you don't have room for error, partner. You know? But look at the chat. The family lambasting the hell out of him. I don't even have to lay into him. I'm going to let the family members ride on this dude. Look at Jay Alexander just lambasting them, just putting them like just impaling them like you see one of them old chickens at Rouse's just turning around on a rotisserie. He's unreliable, and he got unreliable in the high caps in full letters. Capital letters, he is unreliable. We would have been in the Super Bowl if it was. Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, bro, you know what? I appreciate. You know what? I love the Sports Coma people. I love my black and gold family members because they got common sense. They're not caught up in the parakeet crap that all this other foolishness going out here when they started that we got robbed junk. We did not get robbed. And I have to tell them people, what you mean we got robbed? The referee. I say, listen, partner, let me tell you something. If we had got robbed in that goddamn game, if we would have actually got robbed, I would be the first one to tell you we got robbed. What that referee did was unspeakable. He should have made that call. But you and I both know, if you watch football, that you know the coach will tell you after bad games when a referee makes a call that you are never supposed to rely on referees making calls to win games. You're supposed to rely on your own talents to win games. Sean Payton will tell you that a million times. He would come on here and thumb up and say, that's absolutely right. And I would tell my team not to rely on what referees do on the field of action. We don't worry about them. If they make a call against us, we go out there and we eliminate our mistakes and win the game. And the person that executes the better and have the least amount of mistakes that's the guy that ends up winning the game every time. And that's how it goes. So if I'm not going to sit here and talk about what this stupid referee did, I know all three of them missed the call, but that's not the point. If you go back into the game, one of the most outstanding moments was when this guy dropped the touchdown play. Now, had he caught the ball, we would have been in the Super Bowl. So how we got robbed? You robbed yourself? How did you get robbed? And then the funny part is, if we really got robbed and we really felt that way, then why are we dropping the lawsuits? That's like I started in the show. If somebody broke in your house and stole your television or your phone or whatever, something valuable to you, and then you found that you go in there and say, oh, crap, somebody broke my window and stole my television. What the first thing you going to do? You going to walk down the street with a bat? Well, some of y'all probably would, but I mean, the logical things, you would call the police, say, hey, listen, man, I'm going to file a report. Then you would go about, your insurance and all that kind of stuff to retrieve your item that was missing. But you would file a report with the police. What happened when we got robbed? Did we file a report? You have all these lawsuits that happened, got batted down. We got a guy from Mandeville file a report, and then he would be a distraction to the team. If you really got robbed, stay on your convictions. It was no robbery. We gave up the damn game, and one of the main charges of giving up the goddamn game was this guy that you seen tonight commit this atrocious act of bobbling passes for pick six. Now, he just dropped the pass. That's one thing, but bobbled it to a guy that ran it all the way in for a touchdown. And had that not happened, would you have won the game again tonight? I'm not going to hang it all on him, but y'all get the point. I don't have to ride that. Travis said he made a mistake. Travis, that dude always making mistakes, brother. When he going to stop making mistakes and start playing? And Verlin's right. He said he canceling himself out. He's too inconsistent, says Derek. He will cost you a game. How about that? And D says he's already cost you a Super Bowl. I mean, come on. Come on. If I'm playing next to that game, I'm playing, he my teammate, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know about that guy over there. I mean, if you want it, you want it, baby. It's only a handful of people that's doing that. If you want it, you want it. That's like look what some of these guys do. Look what LaJordan Humphreys did. LaJordan Humphreys caught the touchdown. They didn't just walk up in the goal. We had the same discussion several shows ago when we talk about scheme versus the guys having the ability, his talent doing it. And it's more than just talent. Most of those guys can run. Most of those guys can catch. Most of those guys, they big guys that can catch. They lift weights. They fat. These guys were stellar at the collegiate levels. You had guys that just was top athletes. And this conference guy all mentioned here, all this, all player, all this, and they come to the NFL. And then it's a psychological thing. You have to be the best of the best. And most of these guys, they think they get there, and then they run into the roadblock. Look at Traquan Smith tonight. I ain't forget about him. I'm not excited. I'm not happy about how you played either, Traquan. I ain't like how you played either. You still dropping down passes. You still dropping passes. You can't be dropping passes either, man. That's what I was saying about, the Saints, Sway was talking about it. on the previous show, oh, it's the scheme that's helping these guys catch all these passes. Really? If it's a scheme that's making these guys catch all these down passes, well, why everybody else in the Saints system didn't have 100 catches like Mike Thomas had last year? If it's all about scheme. It's not about scheme. You got to catch the damn ball. The man can run you underneath somewhere, and if you throw the ball like you threw it to Traquan out of up and out toward the sideline, and he just drops the ball. Come on. Come on. We can't, no, cut that out. You can't do that. And the family just riding on him. Look at that. I'm not going to even participate, family. Y'all got it on that. Soldier said you get paid to catch the ball as a wide receiver. Bottom line, what you out there doing? Sweeping the floor? Huh? Bagging groceries? Handing Sean Payton some gum? I mean, what is your only function, Dan Arnold, is to catch the damn ball and block occasionally. And you barely could do that. You know? You barely could block. But this is the thing though. You have better guys that Dan Arnold. Don't think it's not noticed. Look, why is AJ Derby here? Why is Jake Powell here? The Saints, not only have we picking up on running backs, but peep the perception. Not only did you get a crap load of running backs, but the Saints have been picking up tight ends more than running. Well, not more, but right behind that. They picked up 2 tight ends in as many, as a week time? You had Jake Powell who snuck in there. And then, of course, you got A.J. Derby the Saints brung in after they got rid of a guy they didn't need, Nate Wozniak, who should have been cut. You know, he should have kept Rick Leonard over Nate Wozniak. He wasn't hitting on nothing. Even players down there were saying that guy's not very good. No crap. But, you have to look at it, man. Dan Arnold is playing himself, and Sean Payton is going to try to protect him. And it's a shame because you shouldn't. Let Garrett Griffin have some more snaps. Because remember, Garrett Griffin played in the NFC Championship game. He caught a touchdown. So undrafted backup tight ends can catch. Ask Garrett Griffin. Big ups to Garrett Griffin. He listened to the show, too. They need to get that man some more snaps, Sean Payton, and stop trying to protect Dan Arnold because he's 6'6" and you like big targets, man. That guy can't catch, man. D says, hey, D said Cam Jordan was the only player on the sidelines taking notes. The entire team should have been with a pen and paper. Are you your brother's keeper? What? Damn, D. Stuck it in him. But that's right, D. That's absolutely right. All of them need to sit back and take notes. All of them do. Especially the entire the backup offensive line and the entire defensive staff not named Cam Jordan and Davenport that didn't play. All those defensive linemen need to step up and watch. Taylor Stallworth looked pretty good. He was out of place on a few plays, but I can respect his strength and his motor. He was showing. But you ain't hear nothing about Trey Hendrickson. And Corbin Kaufusi had a few late hits on the quarterback. One time he pushed the man in his face. Corbin Kaufusi, you can't do that. You can't push the quarterback in his face. You're lucky the ref ain't hit you with a flag, player. I know you getting there late and you frustrated, but you can't push the quarterback in his face. What's wrong with you, fool? What's up, Flex Squad 77? Who that, baby? Said, is it possible that LaJordan and Emmanuel both them? Wouldn't that be awesome if LaJordan, Humphreys, and Emmanuel Butler make the team? It'd be, that wouldn't be bad because the Saints definitely need some wide receivers behind them. Man, Traquan Smith, man, just don't look right to me, man. And it's just the first preseason game, and I've seen a few practice for him. I'm still not enamored with Traquan Smith. I'm sorry, I'm not. A lot of people throwing, Traquan's on the team, and he probably is because he's a draft pick. They want to wait on him for a little bit to see if he develops. But, I'm with you on that Flex Squad 77. I like what Emmanuel Butler can do, but he got to stay healthy. I ain't seen him in the game. But LaJordan Humphreys, man, when they threw the ball to LaJordan Humphreys, he made plays happen. He's a big guy that's very tough to bring down. Like when you showed that touchdown run, you seen him twist and make a little move on that guy, make a miss, and then stiff arm the piss out that other guy to get in the touchdown standing up. So, I love that. We need wide receivers that's difficult to catch, that's good with that yak yards, that good yards after catch. And that's what LaJordan Humphreys is good at. So, I would absolutely love that. Maybe Sean Payton keeps 5 or 6 guys. You got to keep Deontay Harris if he keeps performing like this. Seriously. And, it's a possibility. He could be that guy. He looked really good returning kicks, both him and Cyril Grayson. You got to have a spot for those guys. Perhaps he keeps 5 or 6 of those guys. We don't know. We know maybe 3 for certain on the team, but those other 3 positions could be wide open as well. So I would not be upset with that. Those 2 guys on there. That's the future is bright at the receiver room if you got those 2 guys out there. Dominic says Arnold out there dropping the soap. Crash say Jordan is behind Carr, Butler, and Cobbs on the depth chart. Yeah, but Carr, you giving Carr respect? Emmanuel Butler is big, and Cobbs is another guy sneaky. But Austin Carr, man, a lot of people not giving him any chance to make the team. Maybe as a kick return, punt return, but he does have surefire hands. He's the smallest of the group. Not that much exciting. Can he be reliable? The Saints intrigued by him, what he did with New England. He's kind of that little slot guy that catches everything. But what about Rashard Matthews, who caught 1 ball today? I want to see Rashard Matthews more, man. I would love to see him more. I want to see what he can do more in these next preseason games. Travis said he have way more good game than he do bad games. Crass says, let's see, Jay Alexander, man, I like Sammy Cobbs over Lil Jordan. We need to keep Cyril Grayson too. We need the speed with Ginn too. I feel like they could use Grayson in the scat back position. They talked about using them in that position too, and I appreciate you saying that because you look at some of the speed. The Saints definitely need speed outside of Teddy Gunji and Elvin Kamara in the wide receiver room. That's going to be a tough because, like I said, could any of the great Saints people in this room go back and look up the last time the Saints actually had a wide receiver depth chart this deep? I can't even recall. It's been a long time since the Saints had a wide receiver depth chart this damn deep. I'm just going to be honest with you. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the Saints to make a pick between some of these guys. I mean, Emmanuel Butler, Sammy Cobbs Jr., Jordan Humphrey, Cyril Grayson, Deontay Harris. It's going to be tough. But I know on the outside looking in, Austin Carr got to be the guy on the outside looking in. Traven Darrell just killing himself. You know, I mean, come on. They bring you back for a second stint, and then you get out there. And, I mean, you can't do that, man. You really can't. Ahmad said Garrett Griffin should be ahead of Dan Arnold. I agree with you. He should be. But that guy's enamored with Dan Arnold because he's big. Because he likes big wide receivers and tight ends. You need to cut that out. He definitely needs to cut that out. Travis Johnson, y'all seeing the bad thing but not seeing the good thing the players are bringing to the table. Expound, Travis. Expound. What good thing Dan Arnold bringing to the table, because that's the guy that they lambasting in the chat. We see the potential in the other guys. Now, we making mention of some of the guys that didn't look good, P-Rob and all them, but we know they can brush it up and have better outings, and it could just possibly be Russ because Patrick Robinson didn't play long. But they're lambasting Dan Arnold. You know, what good things that Dan Arnold bringing to it? For every good thing he gives in this game, he caught a touchdown pass and fought for it. And you can give him some credit for that, but just whisked it away with that play for a pick six. I mean, so it kind of neutralized the good that he did. And we're only pointing, the guys here are only pointing out the fact that this is what he doing. We ain't get out there and put bacon grease on his hand and make him to drop the ball. That's him doing it to himself, you know? So he got to step his game up, man. And that's, when you're on, Dan Arnold can get away with that if he's playing for the Cleveland Browns. He can get away with that crap when he's playing for the Miami Dolphins or the Arizona Cardinals or any other the bottom feeding teams in the NFL. But when you're a Super Bowl team that's looking for Super Bowl aspiration, you don't want to see nobody dropping no plays like this, especially when you're responsible for dropping a touchdown in the NFC Championship game that could have sent you to the Super Bowl. You know, so everything he does is going to be scrutinized from this point forward, and rightfully so. He has to step up and play better, and we're not cutting him right now, obviously not. Sean Payton's going to still see what he's going to do down the line, but hopefully, we can find a better option. Garrett Griffin, Alizé Mack was hurt. We bring Alizé Mack in there. Somebody, man, please unseat this dude. Scoop said Trey all day, but not tonight. Derek said, I know the play was called back for holding, but did you see how fast track Cyril Grayson looked on that jet sweep? I can see that play being used during season. Yeah, that dude is absolutely amazingly fast. Cyril Grayson, world-class speed. You know, world-class track speed. I mean, and you have some guys that were track stars like James Jett with Oakland and all that back in the G, and they have track speed, but it don't look the same on NFL field. You know, you got guys that are super fast, but it don't translate on NFL field. Cyril Grayson is a guy, he's a speedster, and his stuff translates. You know, seeing him out there, giving the Saints that you see, that's the thing. You having a player of of that speed capacity and involving them in little plays right there can only accelerate what the Saints add to that playbook. Because you put a guy like that in there and then sneak him in the four, and you run a 4 wide receiver set and sneak Cyril Grayson in as one of those, the fourth wide receiver on a dime back and tell him go out, and Drew Brees finds him all day. You got two guys like Ted Ginn Jr., Cyril Grayson, or Deontay Harris running out in streaks down there, helping stretch the field, blowing the field open with Elvin Kamara in the backfield. It definitely adds a taste, give you speed, and that's something that Sean Payton looking at and licking his chops saying, man, we can use this. We can open up the playbook and do this. I ain't do this in a while. I can be able to do this, do that, do the reverses and all this kind of stuff that they was doing with Teddy Ginn Jr. But you having another speedster out there can help open that up and make it even better as well. So, man, we're going to see, man. Like I said, I'm excited about that wide receiver room. I really am, family. I love what our wide receivers are. I got to give them credit. We got a lot of really great wide receivers in this wide receiver room, and it's going to be hard to cut some of these guys. I ain't going to lie to you, family. Scoop said, I'm out, family. Good night. Who that? Who that to you, Scoop? Good for joining us tonight, brother. Who that to you? Flex Squad, is it possible that Ted Ginn Jr.? No, I not unless he hurt, Flex. I think Ted Ginn got a spot on this team unless he gets hurt or he's dat slaps Sean Payton and talks about his mama. That's the only way he not gonna make this team. I mean, Ted Ginn Jr. is healthy and he's gonna definitely make the team. I don't see him not making the team. You know, unless he falls out with Sean Payton in some major capacity. So we'll see. Verlin says same thing. You know, I don't see anyone doing enough to surpass Ted, as we established. Travis says, okay, if the fam feel I'm wrong, then it is what it is. He got to go then. Everybody can't be wrong. No, Travis, the family, well, I appreciate you defending them. You know, I appreciate defending Dan Arnold. Don't get me wrong. Everybody can do some wrong. Nobody's perfect. You know, I get up here and mispronounce words some days. Sometimes I get up here, I'm be honest with you, and I say the wrong statistics sometimes, and I got to correct myself. You know, sometimes I might forget a player or so. Like, remember in the preview, I forgot Devin. I call him Devin Johnson or something. Devin Hester's last name, and the family correct me. So, you know, like I say, it's one of them things, family. You know, that we're not perfect here. You know, and then as a Saints organization, as the Saints, we attribute ourselves. We got the Saints moniker, which means we believe in forgiveness. But Dan Arnold is really pushing it though. He's really pushing it. Because we gave Marcus Williams redemption and he took advantage of it. But Dan Arnold running around here doing all this foolishness ain't gonna help his case. It really isn't. I'm sorry, it isn't. And fans are paying attention to him. Trust me, they really are. Soldier said we're gonna have to save some of this Dan on the top for tomorrow. Yeah, you're gonna hear it all over the newspaper now. And then again, if they're in touch, people not gonna if the media source of the newspaper you're reading talks about Dan Arnold and they don't talk about him dropping the touchdown and him talking about that, then stop reading them because they not keeping it real. You can't talk about what happened with the Saints tonight and not mention that. That was one of the plays. Had it not been for that interception, that pick six off that was responsible by him, maybe this game would have went a little differently. So that's just a little thing, but we're going to leave that for tomorrow. Yes, sir. Soldier for God. We will have a show at noon tomorrow. On Saturday, sir, that's right. We will do another show. I'm going to have some more interviews from tonight to go over with you. We're going to go over some thoughts, your thoughts and thinking. Perhaps the Saints after the day after the game, be able to look at some film and tape. We'll have Coach Payton's thoughts on it, a few players' thoughts on it, and then we'll go over it as well to talk about it some more and talk about some other factors dealing with, improving it. But it's hard to think now with Sean Payton coming out of it and looking at the tape and seeing how pathetic his defense looked, giving up 200 yards rushing on the ground as a collective, and then giving up 300 yards, 200-something plus yards over there, over 400 yards of total offense in your first game. It's hard for me to look at Sean Payton and say 0-0 pass rush, no sacks, not even close to a sack, for him to look himself in the mirror and say, you know what, we got a problem here at the pass rusher. We got to get another pass rusher. Who we got? We grossly overestimated who we have back here. I'm thinking, and of course some of these guys could show up, but Trey Hendrickson's not the answer. I've been saying that. If Trey Hendrickson was the answer, we would have been seeing that Trey Hendrickson was the answer. I mean, he good in areas, but he gets swallowed up a lot. He doesn't play the run well, and he does have a motor, and he has a way to try to get to the quarterback. But you're a balanced end. If you're a balanced end, you got to play the run and the pass equally, or to your better benefit. You can't get swallowed up on the run. A big offensive lineman just maul you out the way, and the running back run past you. We don't need that. And if we want to have a speed rusher guy option, that's why the family made mentions of Muhammad Wilkerson and guys like that. Why not have a Muhammad Wilkerson, big ass Muhammad Wilkerson, who could play defensive end and defensive tackle? He won't get swallowed up by the run, but the money is a factor. Can the Saints do it? Maybe with seeing the ineptitude of his defense, what kind of promote Sean Payton to look at bringing pass rushers in instead of looking at tight ends and running backs and bringing all these damn tight ends and running backs in here? We don't need Curlin Williams. We don't need Jake Powell. We don't need them guys. We need a pass rusher to help on the defense. That's what we need. So it was a few things answered. We did get some of the answers, maybe partial answers about the kick return game was interested in. We did learn about Teddy Bridgewater tonight. We did see somewhat of Taysom Hill, pretty much what he did last year. Not too much better on his accuracy. I heard all through the summer he's working on his accuracy, still throwing the ball at people's feet, still throwing the ball ahead of guys. Looked at that kind of stuff tonight. Offensive line did okay. The first team did okay. The second team was all right. The running backs look pretty decent, but the wide receivers look good too. But the defense is the mantra today. If the defense would have played half the game, Saints would have won a preseason game. And I know it don't count winning in preseason, but let me tell you something. You try to win every goddamn game that you play. I don't care if it's preseason or regular season. The game is to win. It's to win the game. Oh, it don't matter. Only losers say preseason don't matter. It matters because people trying to make the damn team, and you trying to make the team while you winning. That's what it comes down to, not losing. We got to, and I'm not saying that it's an award you give out for winning in preseason. Obviously, it's not. But you build camaraderie in the preseason, and that's why I'm saying I don't get in the spiel about getting rid of preseason or cutting it down, because it just does. I'm not gonna get into it. We'll talk about that on another day. What's up with Kirkwood? Didn't see Kirkwood out there. The Saints had an injury report, but no injuries on it. But obviously there were guys that didn't play. So I don't know what the hell else. Thank you, Miguel. Who that to you, baby? Miguel's a latest subscriber to the Sports Coma family. Thank you, Miguel, for subscribing, sir. It's the weirdest thing. Sean Payton was supposed to release an injury report. I've checked several injury report wires. There were no injuries listed. Now, the Minnesota Vikings had Kyle Rudolph and two other offensive linemen on their reports. Saints didn't have any injuries, but obviously guys didn't play. Marcus Shrells didn't play. We didn't see him. We didn't see Keith Kirkwood. I did not see Emmanuel Butler. Y'all tell me if y'all did. I did not see him. Now, I got up a couple of times to go get a beer. So I might have missed him trekking to the refrigerator to get a beer, or going to get some more dip for the chips. So if I missed them in my dip and beer trips, y'all remind me. But I did not see Emmanuel Butler. I did not see Marcus Shrells in this game, and a handful of the Alizé Mack and a couple other fellas. Didn't see him. So obviously they probably not hurt. Whatever reason Sean Payton would have to hold those guys out. But y'all tell me if y'all seen them. G. Alexander, man, you read my mind. We did a show several shows ago about Nick Perry. We covered Nick. Derek Morgan was a guy I made mention of. Before he retired, I was chiming for the Saints to get Derek Morgan. And I mentioned Nick Perry. Derek Morgan, 44.5 sacks in a 10-year span, or 8, 9, 10 years. You got Nick Perry sitting up here with 33 sacks. You don't have to teach them guys nothing but just point at the quarterback and say, see him, go get him. And he get up there. I got him, boss. I mean, you don't have to show those guys. They got a knack for it. And the guy's sitting there as a free agent. And we like, oh, we're going to ride with Trey Hendrickson. Are you crazy? But Sean Payton must have took too many walks to the refrigerator for his beer. His beer got something stronger, and he ain't drinking beer. He got that hard brown stuff. That's what's going on with him. Yep, Miami Wilkerson. Crass is chiming from Miami Wilkerson. Who that, Glenn? Glenn's in the building. Glenn said he just got back home from the game. What was the takeaways from tonight's game, Glenn? And yeah, okay, I see what y'all talking. Derek says, I agree with you, Q, but the wide receiving room, so I guess Crabtree won't be getting the call from the Saints. Hell no. Hell no. We don't need Crabtree. But Dez White could be a guy. Remember, he said, and it's going to be probably after the preseason, getting into the regular season. He's going to get fully healthy. Then you could possibly look at a Dez Bryant coming to the Saints and saying, hey, man, I'm going to give y'all the first chance. And they're going to say, well, how much you want to pay? Come over here. We're going to give you a physical. You're going to give him a physical. Going to say, okay, well, how much you want? And if Dez say, well, y'all tell me, the Saints going to sign him. They ain't going to pass up on no Dez Bryant, man. I don't care if they got a bunch of other guys there. But we got to look at the fact that injuries plays a part of the game as well. So, like I'm saying, it's a lot to look at. But no, not Michael Crabtree, unless we have some injuries. But, you never say never. We might have a few injuries here or there. You never know what could happen, bro. So, we just have to keep an eye on it. Verlin said he said that Q and told the D coordinator, all right now. Cut Trey, sign Wilkerson, said Soldier for God. J. Alexander said Nick Perry and Deion Jordan still inside. How in the F haven't we bought these dudes in? Jay, I've said it before, baby. I said it before. Stop bringing in running backs and tight ends and start bringing in the damn pass rusher. Because that is a glaring hole. It has become so glaring that even the media people are talking about it now. They last. They last and talk about everything. They talk about everything but the right things. The most glaring stuff they'll see to say, oh, look at that. But when it come down to stuff, we've been talking about the pass rush situation. You can ask Crash, you can ask Derek, you can ask Demi, you can ask Cheryl, you can ask all of them in here. We've been talking about the pass rusher. I've been saying that the third pass rusher was a problem, that Alex Okafor, when he left up out of here, he left a big hole in the Saints ain't yet to fill it, and they gambled on Carl Granderson, and he in jail for 6 months, and they on a sneak slided him out into a list and wait for him to get out of jail. They're going to have him on the team. But the reality at the end of the day is, you mentioned some really good play. Nick Perry and Deion Jordan are way better than any other pass rusher behind Cam and Davenport. Even some will argue that some of those guys are better at this stage of their career than Davenport, and would probably push Davenport to the situational pass rusher position, which he probably would really benefit from being. He would really benefit from being that. You put Nick Perry on that side, and he could drop back in the coverage. He could rush the passer. And this dude is a linebacker size guy that you could play on the defensive line. So you could sit him up and play him at a multitude of games. Very, very, very versatile player. But 33 sacks, man. 33 sacks during his career. That's a lot of freaking sacks. That means that guy got a nick for a natch for getting to the quarterback. You need to pay guys that can do that. Open your damn pocketbooks and make it happen. Glenn said Teddy looked good, thought he was holding the ball too long. Sometimes receivers were probably not getting open. And you know what, Glenn, we talked about that early on. That's the only knock I got to say about Teddy Bridgewater. I gave him all kind of accolades. Remember, I've been lambasting him recently. The last 2 practices, he kind of looked good. I made mention of it. I'm on record for it. But I think when you're dealing with somebody like Teddy Bridgewater, and he was able to make a few plays and drop off the ball. But when you see the clock, and I talked about this in the pregame show, when you have a clock, the best quarterbacks got a clock in their head. They go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. And while they're going in their head, if they don't have nothing, they throw that ball away. You don't supposed to take a sack. That's not fundamental. Even the rookie quarterbacks know that you never, under any circumstances, you're supposed to take a sack. You're supposed to discard the ball, throw the ball out of bounds if you can, but never take a sack and hurt your team by losing yardage. So if I'm 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and I'm buying time in my head and going through my progressions, then I'm supposed to go to the check down receiver. Teddy Bridgewater, on both those times, those sacks was there, he had an opportunity to go to a check down receiver that was wide open. He was getting greedy looking downfield, and sometimes you can't do that. Your time going to come to take a shot downfield. You can't get greedy there and try to force a play or what have you. Get rid of the damn ball, man. Play it smart. Get rid of the ball. And that's what it come down. That's the only knock. But Teddy Bridgewater was admirable. He did a good job tonight. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Teddy Bridgewater. He said Butler suited up but did not play. Okay, thank you, Crass. Flex said pass rusher Nick Perry still available. Demi says penalties are not The Vikings outplayed us tonight. Thank you, Demi. Very well said. Dominated. The Saints defense did not show up to play. They did not. You allowed the team run for 200 yards on you, 200 yards in the preseason game, and then throw for over 200 yards, over 400 yards of offense on the Saints defense. Didn't give them a chance. You know, you just can't do that kind of shenanigans. Glenn says trying to figure out what happened to Yahya on that touchdown reception. He just lost the ball. That's all it was. If you looked at the play, you turn around and looked at the play, looked like to me that he lost the ball in the lights. You know, like when you watch baseball, and it happened at night games when the right field or center fielder, what have you, there's a pop up or the shortstop, and then he, you know, they knock the ball in the outfield, and then the outfield person is running around, or the right field, center field guy running around, he looking for the ball, and he lose the ball in the lights, and it drop right to his side there. It happens. That to me looked like what happened. He just kind of lost the ball in the lights to me. That's what happened with him, in my opinion. Hell yeah, Flex don't know why we ain't called that man. Glenn says, got to get the running game going and the run defense. J. Alexander, ain't nothing happened with that boy, Glenn. Just poo, bro. Verlin Casey, Glenn, he got lost in his own lights on that play. Yep. Verlin saying it. Shouldn't have let Mark Ingram get away as Glenn. I still understand that. Give $1 million is the difference, but let's give Latavius Murray. I seen some stuff in Latavius Murray. A lot of people, we got to be fair to Latavius, even though he kind of making it hard on himself. When you didn't Latavius Murray wearing Mark Ingram old number, you know, I wouldn't have done that. You know, I know this guy's beloved. I'm wearing his number, but then again, it's a challenge. But we have to give Latavius Murray an opportunity. We do. We got to give an opportunity to fill in for the position. Now, you know that they'll be doing Alvin Kamara in a position where he be a guy that the Saints looking at, and they saying, well, we're going to kind of limited his snaps. I don't believe that crap. Sean Payton ain't good at limiting nobody's snaps, especially Alvin Kamara. He going to get happy with him and won't use him in all this kind of capacity. But Latavius Murray, let's give him an opportunity. As long as he can stay healthy, he's a damaging running back north to south. And as you can see, he got a little shift to him. And he runs with power. He does have a wiggle, and he can shift up a bit and get less. So let's give Latavius Murray an opportunity to prove himself. You know, let's give him a little, because I still say he's going to be a damn good short yardage running back for us. And it'll be interesting to see how the Saints move, you know, kind of pair him and Alvin Kamara together, almost like a thunder and lightning type of combination. Love to see. I'm going to really be interested to see how they utilize him tonight. I seen the preseason game what they was trying to do. I need to see some more footage to see exactly how Sean Payton gonna run this thing. But very interesting nonetheless. Teddy said had a pass rusher rating of 1 solid out. Travis said, yeah, he can't do that with the second string wide receiver. Jay says, okay, I want to bring this to light. I saw it last season. I saw it again tonight. Marcus Williams and Von Bell are out of position too many times. Every time I see a play on us, Marcus is out of position. Seen that tonight too. Bad angles too. Safeties tonight. It's just the defense the defense was out of rhythm tonight. It just looked like it just looked really out of rhythm. You're right on that. You know, and it's just, you know, I know they'll have a better outing hopefully in the second game, but good grief. The defense just was totally out of rhythm. It, you know, they just didn't look right the whole night, you know. They just I don't know. It was terrible. Flexi, I don't know if I'm crazy, but I think Caden Ellis could probably start in 2 years replacing A.J. Klein. A.J. Klein definitely probably going to be his contract in a couple years is going to be expired, and I think probably A.J. is going to move on to probably a family man. He getting close to the end of his career. So, yeah, really good years with the Carolina Panthers and some really good, you know, good solid years down here with New Orleans. So I say A.J. getting close to getting up out of here. Caden Ellis flashed a few times, but, you know, I won't say it's not out of the realm of possibility because he does present some stuff. He really does. He has a lot of speed, man. He could tackle. And he got a knack for the ball, too. So, Caden Ellis, a lot of people not really talking about that dude, but a lot of people need to put Caden Ellis on their watch list. You got a Saints watch list, and you got Emmanuel Butler on there. You got LaJordan Humphrey on there. You got Devine Zigbo on there. You got Cyril Grayson on there. You got Deontay Harris on there. You got Kevon Webster on there. You got Saquon Hampton on there. You got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on there, you know, and I can go on and on and on. But you got to also make sure you guys put Caden Ellis on that watch list as well, man. Put him on there. Jay said, notice how long Dennis Allen made Von Bell play tonight. He was making a mistake. He was making a statement. Yeah, Von Bell, man, picked up weight too. Remember this too, Jay, that Von Bell picked up 15 pounds on his weight to try to, you know, play the position a little better. And I'm wondering if that's affecting his ability, because usually Von Bell's pretty fast and he can cover the field. That was one of the things about him when he came out of Ohio State that the Saints liked about him, even though he was a bit undersized, you know, for that position. But he had the speed to cover from sideline to sideline. He was a good hitter. He had somewhat of a nose for the ball, was the scouting report when he came out. And the guy he tacked on 15 pounds of weight to his frame. So that's got to have some type of draw to his game. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he could be making a statement, because Dennis Allen won't do you like that unless, yeah, you need to stay in there until you get it right type of deal. So I feel you on that. Shanda said, I'm pretty sure they aren't re-signing A.J. Klein. Oh, no. Once his contract run out, A.J. Klein is a done data here, man. He's definitely a done data. But, yeah, family, that's going to do it for the show today, for the Sports Coma. I appreciate all the family in the live chat for coming in and chiming with us on the Sports Coma. If you're new to the Sports Coma, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit the thumbs up as well as you're joining the family. And we have these discussions all the time in our podcast. We've been covering the Saints now going on. This is 5 years of the Sports Coma. Doing the 5 years of the Sports Coma, baby. 5-year birthday just passed on the 8th. And we appreciate the family members for the love and the support that they've given us during our growth period. 5 years covering the Saints, 30 years of diehard black and gold family. And recently, family, we got some other stuff I want to talk to you while I got you guys here. I'll let you know about the merchandise. We have the merchandise is now available on our pro page on Teespring. So you can feel free to go to our YouTube page, and when this video posts, of course, you know, you'll see the links. But in the community section, it's a Teespring at I'll post it in the link so that you guys have it as well, and you can also look at our social media as well to look at these shirts. But our merch is available, and we got several designs. It's out right there. We got the Dat Slap. That's right. It's called the Dat Slap. You know, that's something we coined here at the Sports Coma, that if you disrespect our Saints in the Sports Coma, we're going to Dat Slap your ass. We're going to Dat Slap your ass. That's right. It's called the Dat Slap. And we got a Dat Slap t-shirt for the women, for the men, for the babies, onesies, for the children. We got all that kind of stuff. And then we also have several other designs just released today, family, just to let you know that we have the Chump shirt. Remember, we've been talking about the Chump. The Chump, we know who the Chump is. It's Roger Goodell, the most hated man in Saints Nation. And the Saints Kingdom is Roger Stinking Goodell. And recently there's a new shirt that we just acquired. It's called the Chump shirt, and it's a cartoonization of what appears to be Roger Goodell with a foolish face and words chump circling around his empty head. And there are fleur-de-lis in between. Very nice and beautiful design shirt. Y'all guys going to really love it. It's also a Sports Coma established 2015 5-year shirt. That's pretty good. That shows our seal with the fleur-de-lis and the Sports Coma Big Q. And guys, there's several designs, family. Feel free to go there to the merch and get yourself a t-shirt. When you go out to rock, when you go to the games, Glenn, you can wear the Sports Coma shirt and let the family know, man, this is what I listen to. I'm a member of the Sports Coma Nation, and I'm a proud member of the Sports Coma Nation. So we got that. I'm going to put that in the link, family, so that you guys could see it as well. Maybe perhaps we can do it here. Let me see if I can find the link there so we can possibly do that. But, you know, it's like we said, family, a lot of great stuff going on with the Sports Coma as we making it. I appreciate you there, Demi. Thank you, baby. Appreciate you. Thank you, Verlin. Who that to you, baby? Thank you. J. Alexander, baby. Thank you. Appreciate you, too. All the love. all the family. Thank you, Crass, for your too, man. Thank y'all. See, it's great family, man. I thank y'all. Just give me just a second, family. I'm gonna see if I can find the link here, because it's gonna take maybe a few minutes for the video to post. But let me see if I can kind of put the link in the description section or in the chat so you guys can actually see it. But as it stands, we have 5 shirt designs coming out. We have them already available, and with the code Big Q5, the code Big Q is all lowercase, Big Q5, you can get 5% off on the purchase of the shirts as well. So it's a way to kind of help build a platform and show your support and for the Sport Coma. So I'm gonna have to see if we can post that link in the description section so you guys can get to it. So it should be there. Okay, voila, there it is, family. But yes, we got that going on. And coming up, family, I've been telling y'all about these giveaways that Sports Coma and the PRO Media Network is about to do. I'm gonna give you some more information about it tomorrow on our noon show, family members who aren't familiar, that we do a Sports Coma live every Saturday at noon. And of course, we're doing the Sports Coma live before and following the preseason games as well for the weekend. But Saturdays, we still gonna do one live. But now I just want to let you guys make you aware about these giveaways, and I want you guys to participate in this giveaways. You know, we were giving away here. We're gonna be doing it over the next 4 months or so. We'll be giving away a console, a PS4 console, every month, and I think probably the month after that we might change it up to an Xbox or one of the Nintendo things or the Switch or what have you. But anyway, we'll be giving out gaming unit consoles, brand new consoles, one every month. Just to let you know, you can enter a contest. We'll have a flyer and all the information ready in the next 2 days. It'll be coming out. And game giveaways. If you're a Madden head, a lot of family members out there love Madden. If you hadn't got it yet, we'll be giving Madden away every week now for this entire month. You know, every week for this month, we'll be giving the Madden game away for free. It's a free giveaway. The only thing you have to do is meet the parameters, and we'll have all that coming in the next 2 days for the family members to check it out. So we got the shirts coming online. We do, if you notice, family, we don't have any more sound issues. For a while, a couple of shows, we had some sound issues because we had a component that was malfunctioning. We pinpointed it, eliminated it, and we have a new component there. And as you can tell, loud and clear, baby. No sound issues. Yes, yes. But we got a lot of great stuff going for the Sports Coma family, and it's our way here at the Sports Coma of giving back to you, the beautiful black and gold family members out there that's been riding with us for 5 years of fun here at the Sports Coma. So thank you guys once again for being here tonight and allowing me to spend this great time with you. Check us out tomorrow at noon. We'll come back. We'll have some more interviews from Coach Sean Payton and some more Saints talk on the show. So thank y'all for joining us here on the Sports Coma. Who that, baby? And good night.